Krelvan walked through the glass doors of the Assassin's Guild with his head held high. His scales gleamed under the artificial lights of the trading moon. He had killed 847 targets in his long career. He never failed, not once. The guild hall was busy today. Assassins from 100 different worlds moved through the corridors. Some had fur, some had metal bodies. Others were just clouds of gas in special suits. But all of them were killers. All of them were the best at what they did. Krelvan approached the main desk. A human woman sat there typing on a holographic screen. Her name was Jiwoo. She had worked at the guild for 10 years. Krelvan never understood why humans worked these jobs. They were so soft, so weak. "I am here for a new contract," Krelvan said. His voice sounded like stones grinding together. Jiwoo looked up. Her face changed when she saw him. She looked worried.
Krelvan.
"I have a contract here, but I need to talk to you first. There is nothing to discuss. Show me the target." Jiwoo touched her screen. A hologram appeared between them. It showed a man with dark hair and tired eyes. He wore a simple flight jacket. The text below his face read, "Hyunsu, human, age 34, freight captain. Location Taesan 7 colony. The pay is 2 million credits," Jiwoo said slowly. "That is 10 times the normal rate for a freight captain." Krelvan's eyes narrowed. "Why so much?" "The client says this human saw something he should not have seen. Weapon smuggling. They want him dead before he can talk to the authorities." "Then it is simple. I will take the contract." "No." Jiwoo stood up. Her hands pressed flat on the desk. "Krelvan, listen to me. Do not take this contract, please." Krelvan tilted his head. "Why are you protecting your own kind?" "Yes," Jiwoo said without shame. "I am, but not for the reason you think. Krelvan, you are a good assassin, one of the best, but you have never hunted a human before. Humans are weak. I have studied your species. You have no claws, no armor, no venom. You are slow. Your bodies break easily." Jiwoo laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Is that what you think?" "Krelvan, look at the board behind me." Krelvan looked. On the wall behind Jiwoo was a long list of names. These were assassins who had died in the field. The list was organized by what killed them. "See that section?" Jiwoo pointed to a group of names highlighted in red. "Those are assassins who died trying to kill human targets. 17 of them, and 43 more just vanished. Never came back. Never called in. Just gone. They were weak assassins." "No, they were not." Jiwoo pulled up files. "Drekmar. Killed 400 targets. Died on Earth trying to kill a human shopkeeper.
Zelvek.
Killed 623 targets. Vanished while hunting a human teacher on Mars. These were not weak assassins, Krelvan. They were professionals. Like you." Krelvan waved his clawed hand. "I am not them. I am better." Jiwoo closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she looked very tired. "Krelvan, we have a saying. We do not hunt our own kind. There is a reason for that." "What reason?" "Because we know what we are. We know what humans can do when they are pushed. When they are hunted." Jiwoo leaned forward. "Humans are not like other species. We do not give up, ever. If you hurt us, we will follow you. If you run, we will chase you. If you hide, we will find you. We are very, very patient. And we never forget." Krelvan made a sound that was like laughing in his species. "You try to scare me with stories. I have fought in wars. I have killed things that would make you scream. One human freight captain does not frighten me." "Then you are a fool," Jiwoo said quietly. "But I cannot stop you. The contract is legal. If you want it, it is yours." Krelvan reached out and pressed his claw to the screen. The contract transferred to his account. 2 million credits. Half paid now. Half paid when the job was done. "I will return in 3 days, Krelvan said. "With proof of death." Jiwoo looked at him with sad eyes. "No, you will not. You doubt me?" "I do not doubt your skill, Krelvan." "I doubt your understanding." She pulled up the image of Hyunsu again. The human looked ordinary, plain, nothing special. "Look at his eyes." "Really look," Krelvan looked. The human's eyes were dark and deep. They did not look afraid. They did not look soft. They looked like they had seen terrible things and survived. "What am I supposed to see?" "Someone who has already died once," Jiwoo said, "and chose to come back." Krelvan turned away. "Goodbye, Jiwoo. Count your money. I will earn you a good commission on this contract." As he walked toward the exit, Jiwoo called out one last time. "Krelvan." When you meet him, when he looks at you, remember what I said. Remember that we warned you. Krelvan did not answer. He left the guild hall and headed to his ship. In 2 hours, he would be on Tayson 7. In 3 days, he would be rich. He did not know that he had just made the biggest mistake of his very long life. Tayson 7 was an ugly planet. The sky was always gray from the smoke of the refineries. The buildings were made of cheap metal and concrete. Workers moved through the streets with tired faces and dirty clothes. This was a place where people came to work, not to live. Krelvan liked it. Ugly planets were good for hunting. People did not pay attention. They kept their heads down. They did not notice a reptilian alien watching them from the shadows. He had been on Tayson 7 for 2 days now. He had found his target quickly. Hyunsu lived in a small apartment near the freight docks. Every morning he woke at 6. He exercised. He showered. He ate a simple breakfast. Then he went to work. Krelvan watched from different positions: rooftops, alleyways, parked vehicles. He was patient. Good assassins were always patient. They learned their target's patterns. They found the weak moments. Then they struck. But something was wrong. Hyunsu's patterns were not really patterns. He woke at 6 every day, yes, but he took different routes to work. One day he walked. The next day he took the train. The day after that he borrowed someone's vehicle. He never did the same thing twice. At work, Hyunsu loaded freight containers with other dock workers. He laughed with them. He shared his lunch. He looked like a normal person. But Krelvan noticed small things. Hyunsu always positioned himself where he could see all the exits. He never turned his back to open spaces. When people approached him, he knew they were coming before they spoke. This was not a normal freight captain. This was someone with training. On the 3rd day, Krelvan decided to move closer. He needed to see more details. He climbed onto a shipping container stack that overlooked the main loading area. From here, he could watch Hyunsu work. He could study how the human moved. Hyunsu was helping another worker lift a heavy container. His sister worked with him. Her name was Minji. Krelvan had learned this from listening to the dock workers talk. She was smaller than her brother, but just as strong. She drove their ship while Hyunsu managed the cargo. "Brother," Minji said quietly, "something is wrong." Hyunsu did not stop working. "I know. You feel it too?" "For 2 days now." Hyunsu wiped sweat from his face. "We are being watched." Krelvan went very still. The human could not possibly know. He had been too careful. "Should we report it to security?" Minji asked. "No point. If someone is watching us, they are professional. Security will not catch them." Hyunsu lowered the container. He stretched his back. "Do you remember what I taught you? About the war?" "Which part?" "When you know someone is hunting you, what do? Minji thought for a moment. "You do not run. Running makes you prey. You turn around and show them your teeth." "Good." Hyunsu smiled. "Very good." Krelvan felt something strange in his chest. It was not fear. He did not feel fear. But it was close to fear. It was the feeling of realizing that prey might have teeth after all. The workday ended. The dock workers left in groups. They talked and laughed. They made plans to drink at local bars. Hyunsu and Minji walked together toward the parking area. This was Krelvan's chance. The area was quiet. There were many shadows, many places to hide a body. He climbed down from the container stack. He moved through the shadows like water. His species was naturally silent. His feet made no sound on the concrete. He pulled out his knife. It was made from diamond-hard crystal. It could cut through bone like paper. Hyunsu stopped walking. Minji kept going for a few steps, then stopped too. "Brother?" "Keep walking," Hyunsu said softly. "Go to the ship. Start the engines. If I am not there in 10 minutes, leave without me." "I will not leave you." "Minji, go now." Minji looked at her brother's face. Whatever she saw there made her nod. She turned and walked quickly toward their ship. Her hand moved to something on her belt, probably a weapon. Krelvan stayed in the shadows. He was 30 feet away from Hyunsu. The human stood alone in the empty parking area. He looked small, vulnerable. This was perfect. Then Hyunsu turned his head. He looked directly at the shadow where Krelvan was hiding. Their eyes met. Hyunsu smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who had expected this. Someone who had been waiting for this. The human's lips moved. He did not speak out loud, but Krelvon could read the word. Run! Krelvon felt his blood go cold. How did the human know? How could he see into the shadows? The human had no special eyes, no enhanced senses. He should not be able to see anything. But he had. He knew exactly where Krelvon was hiding. Hyunsu turned and walked toward his ship. He did not hurry. He did not look back. He walked like someone who had nothing to fear. Krelvon stood in the shadows and watched him go. His knife was still in his hand. He had not struck. For the first time in his career, he had hesitated. That night, Krelvon sat in his small rented room. He reviewed the recordings from his surveillance equipment. He watched Hyunsu's movements again and again. He tried to find the mistake, the moment when the human had spotted him. There was no moment. The human had just known. Krelvon remembered Jiwoo's words. We know what we are. What did that mean? What were humans? He would find out tomorrow. Tomorrow he would not hesitate. Tomorrow he would kill Hyunsu and finish this contract. The human had been lucky today. That was all, just luck. But deep in his mind, in a place he did not want to look, Krelvon knew that it was not luck. The human had been playing with him. The abandoned industrial sector smelled like rust and old chemicals. Empty warehouses stood in rows like dead giants. Nobody came here anymore. The mining company had moved to a new location 5 years ago. Now this place was just empty buildings and broken equipment. It was perfect for murder. Krelvon had followed Hyunsu here. The human had left the docks alone tonight. Minji had stayed with the ship. Hyunsu walked through the empty streets without fear. He wore the same old flight jacket. His hands were in his pockets. He looked like he was just taking an evening walk. Krelvon stayed on the rooftops. He jumped from building to building. His species was good at climbing, good at jumping. He could move above the human without being seen. Or so he thought. At the end of a long street, Hyunsu stopped. In front of him was a dead end. Concrete walls on 3 sides. No doors, no windows, no way out except back the way he came. The human walked into the dead end anyway. Krelvon felt excitement rush through him. Finally, the human had made a mistake. He had trapped himself. This was over. Krelvon dropped from the rooftop. He landed in the street behind Hyunsu. The sound of his landing echoed off the walls. It was loud in the silence. Hyunsu did not turn around. He just stood there looking at the concrete wall. Did they tell you? Hyunsu asked. His voice was calm. Did they tell you what I did before I became a freight captain? Krelvon pulled out his knife. The crystal blade gleamed. It does not matter. You saw something you should not have seen. Now you must die. That is not an answer to my question. Hyunsu finally turned around. He still had his hands in his pockets. My past, did they mention it? No, I do not care about your past. Only your death. Hyunsu sighed. He looked disappointed. That was their mistake. And yours. Krelvon rushed forward. He was fast. Zathir were much faster than humans. He crossed the distance in less than a second. His knife went straight for Hyunsu's throat. It was a killing strike. Perfect and clean. Hyunsu moved. It was such a small movement. Just a turn of his shoulders. A shift of his weight. The knife passed through empty air. Krelvon stumbled forward. He was off balance. Hyunsu's hand came out of his pocket. It held nothing. It was just a hand. But it moved like a weapon. It struck Krelvon's wrist. Krelvon felt bones break. The knife fell from his hand. I was a soldier, Hyunsu said quietly. 9th Battalion. Special Operations. Frontier Wars, 12 years of combat. Krelvon swung his tail. Zathir tails were strong. They could break a human's spine, but Hyunsu jumped over it. He landed lightly. His eyes never left Krelvon's face. Do you know what the Frontier Wars were? Hyunsu asked. He circled slowly to the left. 3 generations of humans fighting against the Kresh Dominion. They wanted to exterminate us, wipe humanity out completely. So we fought. Krelvon charged again. He used his claws this time. His species had claws that could tear through metal, but Hyunsu was not there anymore. He moved like smoke, like shadow. Every strike missed. We lost millions of people, Hyunsu continued. He did not sound out of breath. Billions, maybe. Whole colony worlds burned. But we did not surrender. We never surrender. That is what makes us human. Krelvon roared in frustration. He was faster. He was stronger. Why could he not hit this human? You want to know the secret? Hyunsu stopped moving. He stood in the center of the dead end. You are faster than me. Stronger than me. In a fair fight, you would win. Then why have I not killed you? Because I do not fight fair. Hyunsu smiled. I fight to win? Krelvon heard footsteps behind him. He spun around. 6 humans stood at the entrance to the dead end. They wore security uniforms. They had weapons. One of them was a large man with scars on his face. He looked at Hyunsu and shook his head. Brother, you are playing with your food again, the scarred man said. Sorry, Daehyun, Hyunsu replied. Old habits, Daehyun. The colonial security chief. Krelvon had seen his file. Another veteran. Another survivor of the frontier wars. We should take him in, one of the other security officers said. Attempted murder, conspiracy, we have enough to lock him up. No, Hyunsu said. Let him go. Everyone stared at Hyunsu. Even Krelvon was confused. Let him go? Daehyun asked. Are you insane? He needs to understand. Hyunsu walked closer to Krelvon. The alien backed up against the wall. He needs to learn. If we arrest him, he will just think he failed because of bad luck. Because we cheated. He will not learn the real lesson. What lesson? Krelvon hissed. His wrist hurt. His pride hurt more. Hyunsu bent down. He picked up Krelvon's knife from the ground. He looked at it for a moment. Then he broke it. The crystal blade snapped in half in his hands. The lesson is this, Hyunsu said. He dropped the broken pieces. You came to hunt a human. You thought we were weak, soft, easy prey. But you were wrong. We are not prey. We are predators. We are always predators, even when we pretend to be something else. You could have killed me, Krelvon said quietly. Yes, why did you not? Hyunsu looked at him with those deep, dark eyes. Because I am tired of killing. I did enough of that in the war. I came here to live a quiet life, to carry freight, to be normal. But you would not let me have that. So now you need to choose. Choose what? Walk away. Leave this planet. Tell whoever hired you that I am dead. Take their money and forget about me, or keep trying to kill me and learn what it really means to be hunted by a human. The security officers parted. They made a path to the street. Krelvon could leave. They were letting him leave. This is mercy, Daehyun said. His voice was hard. We do not usually give mercy to assassins. But Hyunsu is soft sometimes. Stupid, but soft. If I see you again, there will be no mercy. Understand? Krelvon understood. He walked through the line of security officers. They watched him with cold eyes. Every one of them looked like they wanted to shoot him. He walked faster. Behind him, he heard Hyunsu talking to Daehyun. He will not leave. He is too proud. I know. That is why I will have my people watch him. No need. I will handle it. How? The old way. Krelvon did not hear the rest. He turned a corner and ran. His wrist was broken. His knife was destroyed. His pride was shattered. But he was alive. He should have felt grateful. Instead, he felt afraid. For the first time in 847 contracts, Krelvon the assassin knew what it felt like to be prey. Krelvon sat in his rented room with a medical wrap around his broken wrist. The pain was bad, but he had felt worse. Physical pain was nothing. The pain in his pride was much worse. He had failed. For the first time in his entire career, he had failed to kill a target. Not only that, but the target had let him live. The target had shown him mercy. Mercy was for the weak. Mercy was what prey begged for, but Hyunsu had not begged. He had given mercy like a gift, like he was the one in control. Because he was in control, that was the truth that Krelvon did not want to accept. He opened his computer terminal. He needed information, real information, not just about Hyunsu, but about humans in general. He had made assumptions. Those assumptions had nearly gotten him killed. First, he searched for the frontier wars. The results filled his screen. Thousands of documents, millions of files, battle reports, casualty lists, historical records. It was overwhelming. He started reading. The frontier wars had lasted 73 years. 3 generations of humans had been born, lived, and died during that conflict. The Kresh Dominion had been a powerful empire. They controlled 100 worlds. They had weapons that could destroy planets. They had warriors bred for battle from birth. The Kresh had seen humanity as a disease, something to be eliminated. So they had tried to exterminate every human in the galaxy. They failed. Krelvon read about the battles. The humans had lost so many fights. Whole fleets destroyed. Entire colonies burned. Billions of people dead. Any other species would have surrendered. Any rational species would have negotiated for peace. Humans did not surrender. They did not negotiate. They just kept fighting. Krelvon found a document about human biology. It was written by a creche scientist during the war. The scientist was trying to understand why humans were so hard to kill. The document said humans were persistence hunters. On their homeworld, Earth, humans had hunted animals by chasing them for days. Not by being faster, not by being stronger, but by never stopping. Humans would chase their prey until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Then they would kill it. The creche scientist wrote, "They do not need to win quickly. They only need to not lose. Time is their weapon. Patience is their strategy. They will chase you across the galaxy if they must, and they will never ever stop." Krelvon felt cold reading those words. His computer received a message. It was from Sora, his information broker. Sora was a Quilix, a species that traded in secrets. Krelvon had paid her to find information about Hyunsu. The message said, "You should have paid me before accepting the contract. I am sending you the files now, good luck. You will need it." Files began downloading. Video recordings. Military records. Personal history. Krelvon opened them one by one. Hyunsu had joined the military at age 18. He served in the 9th Battalion Special Operations Division. His unit was called the Ghost Company. They specialized in impossible missions. Hostage rescue, deep reconnaissance, assassination of enemy leaders. Hyunsu had served for 12 years. He had 73 confirmed kills. He had been captured twice. Both times he escaped. Once he escaped after being held prisoner for 3 months. He walked back to human lines across 200 miles of enemy territory. Alone. Without supplies. He ate insects and drank rainwater. He killed 6 enemy soldiers with his bare hands when they tried to stop him. Another file showed a commendation. Hyunsu had held a position at a place called Hadrian Station for 2 weeks. His entire unit was dead. He was alone with limited ammunition and no food. Enemy forces tried to take the station 17 times. 17 times Hyunsu drove them back. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found him unconscious from blood loss and dehydration. He had 62 wounds. The station was still in human hands. But the file that scared Krelvon the most was the last one. It was a training manual, a guide for aliens who wanted to hunt humans. It was written by survivors, assassins who had tried to kill human targets and lived to tell about it. The manual had rules. Rule 1, never assume a human is alone. Humans create networks. They form packs. If you hunt one, you hunt them all. Rule 2, never assume a human is unarmed. Humans make weapons from anything. Rocks, sticks, broken glass. If they have hands, they are dangerous. Rule 3, never follow a human into an enclosed space. That is where they want you. That is where they have prepared to kill you. Rule 4, never assume a human is beaten. Humans do not surrender. Even when they look defeated, they are planning their next move. Rule 5, never chase a human into the wilderness. They are persistence hunters. They will run until you collapse. Then they will kill you. Rule 6, if a human tells you to run, you should run. Krelvon read Rule 6 again and again. Run. That is what Hyunsu had said. In the parking lot. Before the fight in the dead-end alley. Run. It had not been a threat. It had been advice. A warning. Maybe even kindness. Krelvon opened another file. This one was a list of assassins who had tried to kill human targets. 17 were confirmed dead. 43 were missing. The missing ones were probably dead too. Nobody wanted to admit it. One name caught his attention. Velchar the Hunter. He was a Zathir. Same species as Krelvon. An elder, a legend. He had killed over 1,000 targets in his career. He had accepted a contract on a human businessman. The businessman ran. Velchar chased him. They found Velchar's body 6 months later. He had chased the human across 3 star systems. Somewhere along the way, the human had stopped running. The human had turned around and become the hunter. Velchar died badly. The report did not give details, but it said his body showed signs of long-term stress, starvation, dehydration, exhaustion. The human had not killed him quickly. The human had chased him until he could not run anymore. Then the human had killed him. Krelvon closed the files. His hands were shaking. Not from the broken wrist. From fear, he understood now. He understood what Jiwoo had tried to tell him. He understood why the pay was so high. He understood why 43 assassins were missing. Humans were not prey. They were apex predators. They had evolved on a death world where everything tried to kill them. They had survived. They had thrived. They had become the most dangerous species on their planet. Then they had left their planet and become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. And Krelvon had tried to hunt one. No, that was wrong. Krelvon had not hunted Hyunsu. From the very beginning, Hyunsu had been hunting him. The human had been playing with him, testing him, giving him chances to walk away. Krelvon looked at his broken wrist. Hyunsu could have killed him in that alley, could have broken his neck instead of his wrist, but he had chosen mercy. Why? The answer came to him slowly. Hyunsu was not like the Kresh scientist report. He was not a mindless predator. He was something worse. He was a predator who chose when to kill and when to spare. He was a predator with morals. That made him more dangerous, not less. Krelvon's computer received another message. This one was from the contract office. The client was asking for a progress report. They wanted to know when Hyunsu would be dead. Krelvon stared at the message. He had two choices. He could walk away, abandon the contract, lose his reputation but keep his life, or he could continue. Try again, maybe succeed, probably die. He should walk away. Every logical part of his brain told him to walk away. But Krelvon had pride. He had 847 successful contracts. He had never failed, never quit. He sent a message back. Target located. Will complete contract within 48 hours. It was a lie. He knew it was a lie, but he could not admit defeat. Not yet, not ever. Somewhere in the colony, Hyunsu was probably sleeping, probably dreaming peaceful dreams. He had given Krelvon a warning. He had given him mercy. He had given him a chance to leave. Krelvon had refused that chance. Now he would learn what it truly meant to be hunted by a human. Krelvon decided to leave the planet. This was the smart choice. The logical choice. He would go to his ship, fly away, and never think about Hyunsu again. He would lose the contract money, but he would keep his life. That was a fair trade. He packed his equipment quickly. Then he headed to the spaceport where his ship was docked. The spaceport was busy. Ships came and went at all hours. Cargo haulers, passenger shuttles, mining vessels. The noise of engines and loading equipment filled the air. Nobody paid attention to one Zothair walking through the crowds. Krelvon reached his docking bay. His ship waited there, small but fast, perfect for quick escapes. He walked up the ramp and pressed the button to open the door. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. The door would not open. He checked the control panel. It showed an error message. Primary power offline. Secondary systems disabled. Manual override required. Someone had sabotaged his ship. Krelvon felt his stomach drop. He ran a diagnostic scan from his handheld device. The results made him feel sick. His power core had been carefully drained. His backup batteries were disconnected. His manual systems had been locked with a security code that he did not know. This was professional work. This was done by someone who knew exactly how to strand him here. He turned around and nearly jumped. A human stood behind him. A young man with bright eyes and a friendly smile. He wore the uniform of a dock worker. Problem with your ship, friend? The human asked. It will not start, Krelvon said carefully. Oh, that is too bad. Power core troubles? Yes, how did you know? The human's smile grew wider. Lucky guess. My name is Soo-hyun. I work here at the port. I can help you fix it, but it will take 3 or 4 days to get the parts. I need to leave now. Sorry, friend. No other ships going out today. Big storm coming. All flights are grounded for safety. Soo-hyun looked up at the gray sky. There was no storm. The sky was clear. You will need to wait. Krelvon looked at Soo-hyun's eyes. The friendly expression was still there, but underneath it was something else. Something cold. This human knew exactly what he was doing. Did Hyunsu send you? Krelvon asked. Hyunsu? Oh, you mean the freight captain, nice guy. Yeah, he mentioned you might need help. He said to tell you that you are welcome to stay as long as you want. Tyson 7 is a very friendly place. I want to leave, and you will, in 3 or 4 days, after we fix your ship. After the storm passes, after you have had time to think about things, Soo-hyun's smile never changed. Hyun-soo also said to tell you something. He said you can rest when you are ready to talk. Does that make sense to you? It made perfect sense. Hyun-soo was not going to let him leave. The human had trapped him on this planet, and every human here knew about it. Every human was watching. I will find another ship, Krelvan said. You can try, but I think you will find that all the ships have problems today. Funny how that happens. Krelvan walked away from his ship. He needed to think. He needed a new plan. He went to the commercial district and found a cafe. He ordered something to drink and sat in the corner. He watched the people walk by outside. 3 humans walked past the window. They looked at him. Then they took out their communication devices and made calls. Krelvan moved to a different cafe. 2 more humans saw him and made calls. He went to a hotel. The human at the front desk smiled at him. Welcome. Would you like a room? Yes, of course. Let me just update our system. Oh, I see here that someone already paid for your room. A Mr. Hyun-soo. He said you are his guest. Room 412, very nice room. 4th floor. Krelvan took the key. He went to the room. It was nice.
Clean bed.
Working shower. A basket of fruit on the table. A note was attached to the basket. Welcome to Taesan 7, enjoy your stay. Hyun-soo. Krelvan threw the note away. He checked the room for surveillance equipment. He found nothing. But that did not mean he was not being watched. He tried to sleep. He could not. Every sound made him jump. Every footstep in the hallway made his heart race. He kept thinking about the files he had read. About Velchar the hunter, who had chased a human for 6 months. About the 43 missing assassins. The next day, Krelvan tried to find a way off the planet. He went to the passenger terminal. Sold out. Every flight was sold out. He tried to buy a ticket on a cargo ship. The captain, a human woman named Minji, looked at his ID and shook her head. Sorry, we are not taking passengers right now. Company policy. I will pay double. Not about money. It is about safety. We cannot risk it. Krelvan looked at her name tag again. Minji, Hyun-soo's sister. Of course. Your brother sent you, Krelvan said. My brother does not send me anywhere. I do what I want. Minji smiled. It was not a friendly smile. But yes, he told me you might try to leave. He asked me to make sure you stayed. So you are staying. Why does he not just kill me? Because he is not like you. He does not kill unless he must. He gave you a chance to walk away. You did not take it. So now you learn the hard way. Learn what? What it means to be human. Krelvan spent 3 days trying to escape. Every attempt failed. Every ship was unavailable. Every exit was blocked. And everywhere he went, humans watched him. They did not threaten him. They did not attack him. They just watched. And they smiled. On the 4th day, Krelvan had not slept in over 60 hours. His species could go longer without sleep than humans, but not forever. He was exhausted. His mind was slow. His body hurt. He decided to hide in the old mining tunnels, the abandoned ones. Nobody went there. He could rest. He could think. He could plan. The tunnels were dark and cold. Perfect. Krelvan found a small chamber deep underground. He sat down with his back against the wall. Finally, he could rest. Then he heard footsteps, slow, steady, coming closer. Someone was in the tunnels with him. Krelvan stood up. He pulled out a small weapon he had bought on the black market. A plasma pistol. It was illegal, but he did not care anymore. The footsteps kept coming. Closer, closer. They never hurried. They never stopped. Just steady, patient, relentless. A light appeared in the darkness. A flashlight. Behind the light was a shadow. The shadow became a person. The person was Hyun-soo. Hello, Krelvan, Hyun-soo said. His voice echoed in the tunnel. You are hard to follow, but not impossible. Stay back. Krelvan aimed his weapon. I will shoot. Then shoot. Hyun-soo kept walking. But it will not help you. The tunnels are deep. Nobody will find your body for weeks, maybe months.
Is that how you want to die?
Alone in the dark? Krelvan's hand shook. He could not pull the trigger. He did not know why. You have not slept in 3 days, Hyun-soo said. He was close now. 10 feet away. You are exhausted, scared, confused. This is what prey feels like. Now you understand. I am not prey. Yes, you are. You became prey the moment you tried to hunt me. You can rest when you are ready to talk. Talk about what? About why you really will not leave. About why you keep trying to kill me even though you know you will fail. About what you are going to do next. Krelvon lowered his weapon. He was so tired. Too tired to think. Too tired to fight. I cannot fail, he whispered. I have never failed. 847 contracts. All successful. If I fail now, I am nothing. No, if you fail now, you are alive. That is something. Hyunsu sat down on the tunnel floor. He looked tired too, but not as tired as Krelvon. He looked like he could keep going forever if he needed to. Because that is what humans did. They kept going. They never stopped. Sit down, Hyunsu said. Rest, we will talk. Then you can decide. Krelvon sat down. His legs would not hold him anymore. He sat across from Hyunsu in the darkness of the tunnel. 2 predators. 1 human. 1 Zathir. But only one of them was truly dangerous. And it was not Krelvon. Krelvon woke up in a bed. Clean white sheets. Soft pillow. The sound of medical equipment beeping quietly. He tried to sit up and felt pain shoot through his body. His wrist was in a proper medical cast now. His scales had been treated with some kind of ointment. Do not move too fast, a voice said. You collapsed from exhaustion. You have been asleep for 20 hours. A human woman stood next to the bed. She wore a medical uniform. Her name tag said Hana. She was checking his vital signs on a screen. Where am I? Krelvon asked. His voice was rough. Medical center. You are safe. No one will hurt you here. Where is Hyunsu? Right here, another voice said. Hyunsu sat in a chair by the window. He had a cup of coffee in his hands. He looked tired. More tired than before. But he was there, watching, always watching. You carried me here? Krelvon asked. Yes, you passed out in the tunnels. I could not leave you there, so I carried you. Why? Why not just kill me? Hyunsu took a sip of his coffee. He looked out the window at the gray sky. Because I meant what I said. I am tired of killing. I did enough of that in the war. If I can avoid killing, I will. Hana finished checking Krelvon's readings. You are stable, but you need rest, real rest. Your body is breaking down from stress and exhaustion. She left the room. Now it was just Krelvon and Hyunsu. The Assassin's Guild knows where I am, Krelvon said. They sent a mediator. His name is Jinho. He wants to talk to both of us. About what? About ending this. About making a deal. An hour later, a human man arrived. He wore an expensive suit. He carried a briefcase. His face was serious but not unkind. This was Jinho, the guild mediator. Thank you for meeting with me, Jinho said. He sat down at the small table in the medical room. I have come with a proposal from the guild. I'm listening, Hyunsu said. The contract on your life was placed illegally. The client lied about the reasons. They said you were a criminal, that you were dangerous. But we investigated. You are not a criminal. You are a civilian, a veteran, an honest worker. So the contract is void? Krelvon asked. Yes, the guild is voiding the contract. Krelvon, you may keep the advance payment. 2 million credits. But you must leave Hyunsu alone. If you try to kill him again, the guild will consider it a personal vendetta, not a contract. And the guild does not protect personal vendettas. Krelvon felt relief wash over him. He could leave. He could keep the money. He could walk away from this nightmare. But something made him ask, who placed the contract? Who wanted Hyunsu dead? Jinho opened his briefcase. He pulled out a file. A man named Taehyung. He is an executive at Stellar Mining Corporation. Hyunsu witnessed him smuggling illegal weapons to pirates. Taehyung wanted him silenced. Why did Taehyung not just report me to the police? Hyunsu asked. Because the police would investigate. They would find evidence. Taehyung would go to prison. It was easier to hire an assassin. Jinho looked at Krelvon. He hired you because you are famous. Because you never fail. He thought you would kill Hyunsu quickly and quietly. I failed, Krelvon said quietly. Yes, you failed. But not because you are weak. You failed because you did not understand what you were hunting. Hyunsu stood up. He walked to the window. Krelvon, I want to show you something. He pulled out a tablet. He pressed a few buttons. A video started playing. It showed another Zathir, an older one. He was running through a forest. He looked terrified. Behind him, following at a steady pace, was a human. Just one human, walking, not running, just walking. The video cut to another scene. Days later, the Zathir was thin now, weak. He was drinking from a stream. The human appeared in the distance, still walking, still following. Another cut. More days passed. The Zathir was lying on the ground. He could not run anymore. The human walked up to him. The video ended. That was Velchar, Yunsu said. Velchar the hunter, one of your species' greatest assassins. He tried to kill a human businessman. The businessman ran. Velchar chased. The human led him on a 6-month chase across 3 star systems. Then the human stopped running and started chasing. Velchar died of exhaustion and despair. Krelvon stared at the blank screen. Why are you showing me this? Because I want you to understand. This is not about strength or speed. This is about will, about determination, about refusing to give up. Humans are persistence hunters. We evolved to chase prey until it dies from exhaustion. We are very, very good at it. But you did not do that to me. You could have. But you did not. No, I did not. Because I am not that human in the video. I am not the kind of person who tortures someone for 6 months. I gave you chances. Many chances. But you kept coming. Hyunsu sat down again. He looked Krelvon in the eyes. Here is what I do not understand. You know you cannot kill me. You know that if you keep trying, you will die. So why? Why do you keep trying? Krelvon was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Because I have nothing else. I am an assassin. It is all I know, all I am. If I quit, if I fail, then what am I? Just an old Zathir with no purpose. No, Hyunsu said softly. You are a person who can choose. You can choose to stop being an assassin. You can choose to do something different, something better. Like what? I do not know. That is for you to decide. But I can tell you this. The war taught me something. It taught me that life is precious, that every day you wake up is a gift, that you should not waste your life doing things that make you miserable. Being an assassin does not make me miserable. Does it make you happy? Krelvon thought about it. Did it make him happy? He had never asked himself that question. He had always just done the work. Taken the contracts. Made the kills. It was what he was good at. But was he happy? No, he was not happy. He had not been happy for a very long time. What do you want from me? Krelvon asked. I want you to leave. Go somewhere far away. Start over. Find something else to do with your life. And forget about me. That is all. You do not want revenge? You do not want to see me punished? No, I just want peace. I want to go back to carrying freight. I want to live a quiet life with my sister. I want to be left alone. Jinho stood up. The guild's offer stands. Krelvon, you may leave with the money. The contract is void. Hyunsu will not press charges. You are free to go. Krelvon looked at Hyunsu. This human had defeated him. Not by killing him, but by showing him mercy. By giving him a choice. By refusing to be the monster that Krelvon had assumed all humans were. I accept, Krelvon said. I will leave. I will not come back. Good, Hyunsu said. He held out his hand. The human gesture for peace. Krelvon looked at the hand. Then he reached out with his good hand and took it. They shook. Human and Zathir, former enemies, now just 2 tired people who wanted the fighting to end. Thank you, Krelvon said. For not killing me. For teaching me. You are welcome. Now go, live a better life. You deserve it. Krelvon left the medical center. Jinho had arranged for his ship to be repaired. He boarded it and prepared to leave Tayson 7. As he lifted off, he looked down at the colony. Somewhere down there, Hyunsu was going back to his quiet life. His boring life. His peaceful life. It was not a bad life at all. Maybe Krelvon could find something like that too. Maybe he could be more than an assassin. Maybe he could choose to be something better. The ship broke through the atmosphere and entered space. Krelvon set a course for anywhere but here. He had been given a gift. A second chance. A new life. He would not waste it. 6 months had passed since Krelvon left Tayson 7. 6 months of searching for a new purpose. He had tried many things. Trading, mining, security work. Nothing felt right. Nothing filled the empty space inside him. Then he received a message from Hyunsu. Come back to Tayson 7. I have a job offer for you. Not as an assassin. As something better. Krelvon almost deleted the message. He had promised himself he would never return. But something made him read it again. Something better. What did that mean? He took his ship back to Tayson 7. The planet looked the same. Gray sky, industrial buildings, workers moving through the streets. But something felt different. Krelvon felt different. Hyunsu met him at the spaceport. Minji was with him. They both smiled when they saw Krelvon. "You came," Hyunsu said. "You said you had a job." "I do. My freight company is growing. We need security. Real security. Someone who knows how to spot threats. Someone who understands how assassins think. I want to hire you." Krelvon stared at him. "You want to hire me? After I tried to kill you? You did not succeed. And you learned from it. That makes you valuable. Besides, who better to protect me from assassins than a former assassin? I do not know if I can do this. I am not good at protecting people. I am good at killing them. Then learn. I had to learn how to be a freight captain after the war. It was hard, but I did it. You can too." Minji stepped forward. "We are not asking you to be a hero. We are asking you to use your skills for something good, to keep people safe instead of killing them. Can you do that?" Krelvon thought about it. Could he? Could he change that much? Maybe he could try. "I accept your offer," Krelvon said. "But I have one condition." "What condition?" "If I fail, if I cannot do this job well, you will tell me. You will not let me stay out of pity." "Deal," Hyunsu said. He held out his hand again. They shook. Krelvon started working for Hyunsu's company. At first it was strange. Instead of hunting people, he was protecting them. Instead of planning murders, he was planning security routes. Instead of moving in shadows, he was standing in plain sight. But slowly he learned. He learned to think like a protector instead of a killer. He learned to spot threats before they became dangerous. He learned to trust the humans he worked with. And he learned that humans were not just persistence hunters. They were also loyal friends, generous teachers, patient mentors. They helped him become better than he was. 3 months into his new job, Krelvon received an alert. Someone from the Assassin's Guild was trying to contact him. It was Jiwoo, the administrator who had warned him about hunting humans. "Krelvon," Jiwoo's message said, "I hope you are well. I have information that might interest you. A new contract has been placed at the Guild. The target is a man named Taehyung, corporate executive, Stellar Mining Corporation. Someone wants him dead." Krelvon felt his blood run cold. Taehyung, the man who had placed the contract on Hyunsu, the man who had started this whole nightmare. He showed the message to Hyunsu. "Someone wants him dead," Hyunsu said. He did not look surprised. Probably someone he tried to kill. Or someone he cheated. Men like Taehyung make many enemies. "The Guild is offering a very high fee," Krelvon said. 3 million credits. Will you take it?" "No, I'm not an assassin anymore. But you could be. For one last job. To get revenge on the man who almost got you killed." Krelvon looked at Hyunsu's face. The human was testing him, seeing if he had really changed. "No," Krelvon said firmly. "I will not take it. I am not that person anymore." Hyunsu smiled. "Good. Then let me make a suggestion. What if we handled this the human way?" "What is the human way?" "We do not kill him. We destroy him through legal means. We gather evidence. We expose his crimes. We let the justice system deal with him. That will take a long time. It will be difficult. Yes, but it will be right. And it will be more satisfying. Trust me." Krelvon contacted Jiwoo. He told her about the idea. She liked it. She said she could help. The Guild had information about Taehyung's illegal activities. Information that could be used in court. They spent 2 months building a case. Krelvon used his skills to track Taehyung's movements. Hyunsu used his connections to find witnesses. Minji used her flying skills to transport evidence. Jiwoo used the Guild's resources to uncover financial records. It was like hunting, but different. Instead of hunting one man, they were hunting the truth. Instead of weapons, they used documents and testimony. Instead of killing, they were building justice. Finally, they had enough. They turned everything over to the authorities. The police arrested Taehyung. His company fired him. His illegal operation was destroyed. He went to trial and was found guilty. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Krelvon watched the verdict being announced on the news. He felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Satisfaction, real satisfaction. Not the cold satisfaction of a successful kill, but the warm satisfaction of doing something right. How do you feel? Hyunsu asked. They were sitting in the company office drinking coffee. Good, I feel good. Better than I have felt in years. This is what I meant. This is what I wanted you to learn. Killing is easy. Any fool can kill. But justice, that is hard. That requires patience and intelligence and cooperation. That is what makes us human. I am not human. No. But you can learn from us. Just like we learn from other species. That is how we survive. That is how we grow. Krelvon thought about his long life. All the contracts. All the kills. All the years of being nothing but a weapon. And now finally he was something else. Something better. A few weeks later, Krelvon returned to the Assassin's Guild, not for a contract, but to teach. The Guild had created a new training program. It was for assassins who wanted to learn about hunting humans. Krelvon was asked to lead it. He stood in front of a classroom full of young assassins. They were from many species. All of them thought they were the best. All of them thought humans were easy prey. Before you accept a contract on a human, Krelvon began, you must understand what they are. They are not like other species. They are persistence hunters. They evolved on a death world where everything tried to kill them. They survived by being stubborn, by refusing to quit, by never giving up. He told them his story, about how he had tried to kill Hyunsu, about how the hunt had turned around, about how he had learned what it meant to be prey, about how he had been given mercy and a second chance. The guild told me to run, Krelvon said. I should have listened. But I am glad I learned instead. Because now I know the truth. Humans are not our enemies. They are our teachers. They can show us how to be better than we are. If we are willing to learn. One young assassin raised his hand. But what if we must kill a human? What if the contract is legal and the pay is good? Krelvon looked at him. He remembered being that young, that confident, that foolish. Then you should run, Krelvon said. Because no amount of money is worth what you will face. Humans do not surrender. They do not forget. They will chase you across the galaxy if they must. And they will never stop, never. He paused. But if you are smart, you will do what I did. You will walk away. You will find a better path. You will learn that there are more important things than killing. Things like friendship, like loyalty, like choosing to do what is right instead of what is easy. After the class, Jiwoo found him in the hallway. That was a good lesson, she said. Thank you. I hope they listen. Some will. Some will not. That is the way of things. She handed him a datapad. The guild has made a new policy. Contracts on humans now require special clearance, triple hazard pay, and mandatory review by senior members. Your story helped create that policy. Krelvon looked at the pad. It showed the new rules. They were strict. They were fair. They would save lives. Both human lives and assassin lives. I am glad, he said. Maybe fewer assassins will make my mistake. Maybe, but mistakes are how we learn. You made a mistake, but you survived it. You grew from it. That is rare. That is valuable. Krelvon returned to Taesan 7. To his new job. To his new life. He worked with Hyunsu and Minji and the other humans. He protected them. They taught him. Together they built something good. Sometimes late at night, Krelvon would think about his old life, about the 847 contracts, about all the killing. He did not regret leaving that behind. He had been an assassin, one of the best. But now he was something more. He was a protector, a friend, a person who had chosen to be better. And it all started because one human had told him to run. He had not run. He had fought. He had lost. He had learned. Now he was teaching others, so they would not make his mistake. So they would understand that humans were not prey. They were predators with morals, hunters with mercy, warriors who chose peace. And that made them the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they could kill you, but because they could change you.